Hey kids, you like PlayStation? Hi. I'm running out of ways to start videos. This is Crash Bandicoot 1 for the PlayStation 1. You saw the title and thumbnail, so let's start the history lesson. Once upon a time, the Sony PlayStation came out with brand new 3D graphics. Then, John Naughty Dog, famous for Math Jam and Keef the Thief, signed a contract with Universal to make 3 more games for them. They decided to try their hand at the 3D mascot platformers such as Mario and Sonic, and thus, Sonic's ass game was born. When deciding on a character that parents would like more than Sonic's rear end, they were trying to make a character reminiscent of old Looney Tunes. A classic mute dumbass like Wile E. Coyote. They eventually decided on an animal that only 3 people have heard of before these games and dumped him in a bucket of orange paint. And that's how babies are made. Crash Bandicoot released a few months after Super Mario 64 and was the opposite in almost every way. Mario created expansive worlds to explore while Crash had linear hallway-like levels. Mario let you pick which levels you wanted to play in what order, and Crash had a strict level select that locked you into doing them in a specific order. Super Mario 64 had responsive controls and holds up amazingly today, and Crash Bandicoot 1 became the definition of a developer's first try at a new genre. Not that those are all necessarily bad things, well except for that last one, but I think these 2 games are just too different fundamentally to warrant putting them head to head against each other, despite them both being 3D platformers, so for this I'm just going to judge Crash Bandicoot as what it is and not what it could be. Crash Bandicoot has a very quick intro cutscene.
The Cortex, we have not determined the cause of past failures. Moron! This Bandicoot will be my general, and he will lead my Cortex commandos to world domination. This time I shall reign triumphant. We are closer than ever before. Quickly, into the vortex. Dr. Cortex, the vortex is not ready. We have no idea what it could do. Failure again. Capture him! Uh-oh. Prepare the female bandit.
That went pretty fast, didn't really give us a lot. I mean, who's Cortex? Who's this guy? Why does Cortex say this time when he references taking over the world? Has he tried to do this before? What's with the experiments? Who's this other Bandicoot? And I don't have the manual, so I can't use that to help us. Well, that's okay, because there was a scrapped animated intro, so that should clear things up. Although I wonder why it was scrapped in the first place. I don't know, let's play it.
Cortex is a genius, a mental aberration. He's totally fixated on world domination. The local island creatures are dull and obtuse. Until the evil doctor turns on his juice, he wants them for his troops. They come out nincompoops, most especially Crash Bandicoot. Should have been a genius, but he doesn't quite compute. Crash Bandicoot. Anything can happen now that Crash is in pursuit.
The real story is that this lemon named Dr. Neo Cortex is doing experiments on animals to make them soldiers and take over the world. But the experiment on Crash goes wrong and he escapes. Then there's this other Bandicoot named Tana who's Crash's girlfriend, so he has to save her. Crash has to travel between islands to get back to Cortex's castle, which is always looming in the background. It's also really cool how as you get closer, the levels go from more wooden native fortresses to machinery and metal factories. I'm pretty experienced in 3D platformers, so this shouldn't be too hard. Let's try it. Oh, I wasn't joking when I said this was very clearly their first try, was I? There isn't a very advanced game at play here. You can jump, and you can spin to attack enemies in boxes. This is where the good things about the gameplay end. The controls are very responsive, unless you want to stop moving. It's a little hard to show, but there's like a half-second delay when you want to stop moving. Also, if you spin while you're moving, you're more committed to that spin than I am to arson. So many times I've fallen into pits because Crash didn't stop when I thought he should, or he just slid right off a checkpoint crate I jumped on. The game has moments where you have to be pretty precise, which isn't possible when you can't trust how far the D-pad is going to take you. This makes the secondary goals of the levels damn near impossible. To earn a gem, you have to break every box in the level without dying a single time, because if you die after the first checkpoint, it won't save the boxes you've already broken. The game is also a dick about it because if you run too far away from a TNT crate you set off, it won't break the surrounding boxes. Not to mention there are color gems that unlock paths to missing boxes in other levels, meaning you could go through a whole level trying to get through it in one life, then see this little butt plug and realize you can't yet because you need to go to a completely different level on a separate fucking island, perfect it, and then come back and perfect this level. It was right about here where I gave up on trying for any of the gems. And some of these levels are hard as hell. Sunset Vista is a long and tedious marathon. Cortex Power has this weird camera angle, and to get all the boxes you have to backtrack, so I didn't even bother trying. Toxic Waste has these bouncing barrels that are hard to judge the depth of. Lights Out requires you to be patient, but if you wait too long the game rewards you by gouging your eyes out, and Slippery Climb can suck my dick. The depth perception is a huge issue with this game, especially in a level like Generator Room. You'll be so confident that you know where everything is, but then the game will reveal that you were a fool all along and you'll pay for it. There are some boxes with a mask named Aku Aku which gives you an extra hit, and collecting 3 of them makes you invincible and plays this jam.
What have I got?
But it can be a little annoying how you jump when you get hit. It'll probably kill you at least once, but without Aku Aku you would have died anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. Some levels have these tokens of Tawna, Embryo, and Cortex, and when you collect all 3 of them, Crash goes and it takes you to a bonus stage. Cool, right? Wrong. The bonus level isn't that hard, but you only get 1 shot to win. Still no big deal, right? Well, what if I told you that beating a bonus level is the only way to save your game to the memory card? I'd be lying because you could also save by collecting a gem, but that is way harder. If you don't beat the bonus level, then the only way to save is with a password that is only revealed to you after beating a bonus level or collecting a gem. You can't even save after beating bosses. I had to use a password generator just to log my progress so that I could play the next day. Also, if the whole game is about Crash trying to rescue Tawna, then how come she's just right there at the end of the bonus level just standing there waiting for a high five? Man, I'm very original. Also, the bosses suck. Ignore the fact that I have footage of being the first person to ever die to Papu Papu after beating him. But Ripperoo is just watching his pattern and then jumping on big TNT boxes. Koala Kong is just jumping and spinning. Pinstripe is just waiting. Embryo's pretty cool, especially when he drinks his potion and hulks out. And Cortex is the only actual fun challenge with you avoiding his ray gun. Should have pack-a-punched it, pussy. Can you even pack ray gun? I haven't played Call of Duty Zombies in so fucking long. I know I've complained about the controls a lot. They're stiff, which causes me to second guess and overcompensate, leading to death. When you spin, you can't start moving, making you super slippery, which leads to death. The depth perception sucks ass, which leads to death. Death perception. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't start to enjoy it a lot when I got used to the controls and physics. It's Stockholm Bandicoot. The 2D levels like Castle Machinery are a blast to run through. The river levels are amazing for the music alone. The game has some pretty good music, and this may be a hot take, but the bridge levels are awesome. I rarely felt like my deaths were unfair. In fact, once I got used to the controls of the game, it became a very tough but fair style of difficulty. Until the last few levels like Slippery Climb, which is a marathon of bullshit and leaps of faith. But even through these annoying levels, I never game over it, even though the game would reset your lives when you put in a password. The game sucked ass at times. Sometimes there'd be a secret that's all hidden, but you either don't trust it because the game conditions you not to trust things like that, and if you die, then you can't get the gem. And sometimes you do trust it and it is a secret, but then you die anyway because the game's jank. Sometimes you jump and land on a platform and the game looks you in the eyes and pushes you off the platform. And I died to Papu Papu again. Here's my gamer card, I don't deserve it. Through all of that, it was overall fun, but there is a learning curve, so let me give you some tips. Number 1, get used to how the game feels. Get used to the slight delay when you stop. Get used to what happens when you land on boxes and enemies. Get to the point where you could confidently take a leap of faith. Number 2, for the love of God, be patient. There isn't a time trial in this game, so you have no reason to rush through obstacles. It will get you killed. This game is a lot like Mega Man 1 in that regard. When you're safe, watch platforms or enemies and plan ahead for what you'll have to do. Number 3, accept your fate. You will die a lot, whether it's your fault or the game's fault. Don't let it get you to the point where you rush, because that will just get you killed more, which will make you more annoyed, which will make you rush more, which will get you killed more. When you're stuck on a part for a while, you're really going to want to get back to the part that killed you as soon as possible, but don't let that break your concentration. Number 4, trust in the rhythm of your jumps. Second guessing in midair is going to cause problems, so you have to be confident. That's why it's important to get used to the controls, so that on parts like this you can just confidently let jumps fly, and it's part of why I think the bridges and boulder chases are the best levels. The game shines when you're just timing jumps, even if I did jump on air this one time. And number 5, be patient. I cannot stress enough how important this one is, especially on a level like the lab. Make sure you know what you're doing above all else, and trusting in jumps will rarely lead you wrong unless the game shoves you off the platform like a schoolyard bully. All these and you'll reach the end of the game in no time. And there's another animated cutscene for the end. The first one was just so... I have to see what the other one is. They die? Why does it just end with them dying? What was the point of that? Is that how you're supposed to congratulate the kids? I mean, I know it was scrap, but what the fuck? Oh. It was meant to encourage you to get the other ending. Where you get all the gems. I can't do that. I mean, I got good at the game, but I could never get through all this bullshit without dying on every fucking stage. The hog that Crash wants to ride is stiff. In more ways than one. The game could just kill you for no reason. The depth perception is shit. I can't do this. I died to Papu Papu. Alright. The password generator. Look at that. I did that. I got all those gems and got the secret ending. You even get a Where Are They Now segment for all the bosses. I did that. I totally didn't cheat. So that's Crash Bandicoot 1. It's pretty obvious this is their first attempt at a 3D platformer. The controls need work, it's way too hard, the save system sucks, even Crash wants to escape because you can just jump at the screen during the 2D segments. It's not a bad game though, it looks great for the PS1, I love this model for Crash. Maybe it's because we never see it again, but I have a soft spot for it. It's worth playing, but by God it's not worth the price some of these crazy motherfuckers are trying to sell it for. Holy shit! I think it might still be on the PS3 store if you're that interested, but don't give these motherfuckers any money. It's always nice to see where a series that I really like began, but I think I'm ready for something with a bit more polish. But until then, I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you next time with Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. If it is your birthday, then happy birthday. Great, you made it to the end of the video, but you did miss the like and subscribe button, so go back to the start and make sure you hit them this time. I have other reviews, and I'm running out of things to say here, so if that void that comes at the end of all my videos would just hurry up and take me, that would just be... Thank you.